Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. A little while after I put tonight's upload out, I was just sitting here and thinking about the news, media, and government cover-up that has been happening. Blaming of animals and so on. And I wanted to check on Donald Allen. So I looked up his name, and just like everyone else in the past years, Brenda Hamilton, the doctor, the nurse, the home health aide in Texas, it's headline news for a day or two, and then it's forgotten. And then on those other occasions where they say they found a couple of dogs that attacked a person or whatever, they show you a mugshot of the owners and they go to court, but there's seldom any charges, and because there is no crime committed, because their pets didn't do it. Usually their pets are held and then they are either euthanized for no reason or given back to the owner. So I started just scanning through some paperwork I had, jumped on the computer, and I found a couple of things that I really want to share with you guys. Now, I'm not going to go into the links, but the links are in the description below. You know what I rely on to help the channel. I've got that audiobook out and my second channel. But one thing I do want to say is tonight's second upload is dedicated to two of my youngest channel fans. Giving a shout out to Brian, or Bud, and his brother Anthony, or what I'm going to call him, Ant-Man. This shout outs for you guys. Thanks for the support. So I started looking and I stumbled upon this one. 2019. Dog bite fatality. Man found dead. Believed to be killed by a pack of dogs in the Highway Park community. Now there's an update first, but the basic thing is Lake Placid, Florida. Shortly before noon on the 4th of July, a man was found dead in a wooded area behind his home in the southeastern portion of Highway Park. The Highlands County Sheriff Office identified the man as 45-year-old Melvin Olds Jr. The investigation revealed injuries indicative of an animal attack. States the release from the Sheriff's Office. The medical examiner responded to the scene and could find no other injuries other than those inflicted by the animals. A pack of wild dogs was seen in the area shortly after his body was discovered. State the release. Authorities believe this pack killed this man. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the official cause of death. Highlands County Animal Service and Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission are setting up traps to capture the roaming dogs. The number of dogs in the pack was not released by officials, nor was the block location of the deadly attack. Now, this is very similar to Donald Allen's attack in Florida, a pack of wild dogs. Well, I do understand that, the news and the government have to use something, but couldn't they be a little more creative? We do not live in a third world country where we have packs of roaming wild dogs wandering down our streets and, doing this and that. And it's just so unfortunate that we as people read these articles, whether it be online or in the newspaper, and just blow them off. It makes no sense. Like this next case that I have. May 24th, 2007. Officials said the animal, which cannot be identified, went into the tent of 28-year-old university professor at Itasaga State Park around 2 a.m. Thursday. The Clearwater County Sheriff said the attack left the man with a half-dozen swipe-type cuts, 2 inches long, to his facial area that were consistent with claws. The man, whose identity has not been released, was taken to the hospital, where he was treated and released after a couple of days. The sheriff said the professor was at the park with a group of 10 students, but was sleeping away from them in a 2-man dome tent when he was attacked. The professor told investigators he did not see or hear anything, but when he woke up, something was in his open tent, batting him around, and then it left. Mark LaBarbera, a spokesman for the State Department of Natural Resources, said it was possible a small bear wandered into the campsite near the headwaters of the Mississippi River. While other campers were notified of the incident, park rangers have not issued any official warning for the many visitors who will arrive there Memorial Day weekend. He said animals are sometimes attracted to campsites when food scraps are available, but in this case the camp was clean and the man had no food in his tent. Cortland Nelson of the DNR said that in his 21 years as senior park administrator, I have never had an incident where a state park camper was hurt by an animal, adding, "This is an oddity." Conservation officials set up traps in the area in an attempt to determine what attacked the man. Well, we already know what attacked him because obviously it was literally batting him around. There's a video of him discussing what had happened, and it was not a raccoon. It was large, just like, they said a small bear. Well, it wasn't a bear, and it was not small because this guy is a full-grown man, and it knocked the living hell out of him. So these news media and these state and federal government agencies use the wild dog, wild or feral boar, or mountain lion attacks, but you never hear of these wild dogs being caught. And with the feral boar, with the poor home nurse aide woman, I mean, what are you going to go out and shoot 40, 50 feral pig just because you think one of them did it? No. On top of pigs don't know how to pull pants off of women. Which, for those of you who are listening to this now and have not heard the news cover-up, go back and listen, because it's definitely a very strange set of circumstances that happened there. Now, the next article from the news, the person involved is not so dumb, or actually decided they weren't going to play the game and listen, probably get paid off a little bit. Not this person though. And said, this is not what did this. So check this out. A large predator attacks worry Bighorn County residents. Powell, on Friday, October 18th. Keela Hopkin and her family arrived at their home outside Cowley around 8 p.m. As they walked up to their house, they noticed their dogs were circling around them and barking. Hopkin sensed something was wrong. While her husband Logan checked on the dogs outside, Hopkin went inside the home and noticed blood all over the floor. She found their 40-pound Australian Shepherd, Waco, bleeding profusely. The dog had numerous lacerations on his neck and flanks, swelling bruises, and a nickel-sized hole in his chest wall. He was really beat up, Hopkin recalled. They dressed Waco's wounds as best as they could, and they took him to the Red Barn Veterinary Service in Powell. The dog had numerous rib fractures, a broken sternum that was dislocated into its chest cavity, and its lung had collapsed. The vet said the injuries were so extensive that he needed to go to an animal hospital in Billings, Montana. Dr. Austin wasn't sure he would survive, but explained that his best chance at survival would be in Billings, Hopkins stated. Fortunately enough, Waco is alive and doing well, though Hopkins said he's traumatized ever since the attack. There is some hesitation before he leaves that porch. Hopkins has tried to get answers from the Wyoming Game and Fish Department over the attacked Waco, and she believes the response has been inadequate. Not only was Waco attacked, but a Boer goat went missing, and her other dogs have been carrying home remains of game animals that appear to have been torn apart by a large predator. I have children, livestock, horses, and dogs on my property, and I'm very concerned with the lack of action by the Game and Fish to remedy a large predator that's been attacking animals, she said. I can't be there all the time. You have to leave home to go to the grocery store sooner than later. Now, really quick, I'm just going to interject on that. I have nothing, as all of you know, Victor and I are friends, and I have nothing against Victor. But I've noticed in all of these articles, who does Victor tell us to contact? But in all of these articles, who lies to us the most? The Department of Fish and Wildlife. So the cover-up gets deeper and deeper the more you think about it. Anyway, on to this article. The other pets have been attacked in the area, and their owners are frightened about losing more, officials with the Game and Fish say. They've been very responsive to these reports, have done thorough investigations, and all they can identify what species were involved in these attacks. It's not always easy to conclusively solve cases involving creatures elusive. And they want people to know large predator attacks on pets are rare and not trending upwards. Bullshit. The day after the attack, Hopkin contacted Lovell game warden Dylan Herman. During hunting season, wardens are working extremely long days and rarely see their home. Herman told Hopkin he would come over to investigate the matter the first chance he got. See, that sentence right there, that's irrelevant. You know, get to the friggin' point. I don't care if this guy goes home and sees his kids and whatever. You took a job. Don't put that in the paper. It has nothing to do with the article. You need to be honest, buddy, Dylan Herman, and say, hey, what attacked Waco was a friggin' Dogman, because you think about the damage this poor dog took. Its fucking sternum was just detached from its body. There's holes in its chest. You know, that one hole, the nickel-sized hole in his chest wall. Well, you think about how big a Dogman is. You think about that friggin' nail, the claw. That's all. That's the only thing I can think. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, but let's get more to the article. Meanwhile, a few days after Waco was attacked, a woman in Byron let her 3 dogs out, as she does every morning. Shortly after they ran off to play, she heard a loud fight that lasted 15 to 20 seconds. Then the noise suddenly ceased. As the woman headed out of her house to investigate, one dog came running back with blood and scrapes on its face. Nothing too serious. Another dog showed up with no injuries, but the third dog did not return. She found it severely injured. It died 2 days later. On the evening of October 22nd, the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office warned Byron residents of a potential mountain lion activity in the area. Mountain lion, here we go. Uh-oh. Everyone be careful, there's a mountain lion in your backyard. But even though they say this mountain lion is there, just keep remembering mountain lion. We're asking the public to exercise caution when out alone during the dark hours. The agency, consider taking routine precautions with your children or small animals when outdoors. Herman and Luke Ellsbury, a large carnivore biologist for the Fish and Game, investigated the attacks in both Byron and Cowley. At the 2 sites, they checked prints in the area, hair around the fences, and animal droppings to try to determine what may have attacked the dogs. The tracks and scat they found on Hopkins' property 5 days after Waco was attacked were related to the canine family, a group of animals that include wolves, coyotes, and domestic dogs. Herman also examined the dog's injuries. In the Bryan attack, he concluded that they were most likely inflicted by another dog. There's about a 1/4-inch difference in the size between dogs and mountain lions, and the bites were too large for a mountain lion. Well, a mountain lion and your average sized dog are roughly the same size. Yes, there's a different bite pattern, but okay, let's get on. More than that, the location of the injuries on the dog were not consistent in how mountain lions attacked, which tend to be very precise strikes around the head and shoulders. Dogs are messy. Coyotes are messy, Herman said. Mountain lions, on the other hand, they are efficient killers, the warden explained. So are dogmen, buddy. While the injuries were consistent with a dog attack, he said nothing is certain. That's not to say it can't be a mountain lion. You found poop from a dog, a canine, not a dog, but some sort of canine family. But we're gonna leave the mountain lion in it. Idiots, okay? And a mountain lion, as strong as they are, think back to the damage poor Waco endured. I mean, that poor dog was just destroyed. Destroyed. I mean, sorry, hang on. I mean, numerous rib fractures, a broken sternum that was dislocated into his chest cavity that collapsed his lung. I mean, just reading it and hearing it is terrible sounding. Plus the nickel-sized hole. Well, let's think. A dog, a wolf, or a coyote, and a mountain lion. They're going to put a nickel-sized hole in an Australian shepherd's chest. Nope, not thinking so. All right, hang on a second, and we'll get right back to it. With Hopkins' dog, he's more certain it wasn't a mountain lion. The injuries involved, the kind of bone-breaking crushing that would require a much larger predator, most likely a bear. Mountain lions are not crushers. Herman found no bear tracks or bear scat around Hopkins' property. And so far, the trail cams, Ellsbury and Herman set up in Cowley and Byron have not picked up anything. Even if they did, they wouldn't tell us. Luann Lawson raises goats and alpacas as a hobby on her property west of Denver. Between August and October, she had a number of animals killed or go missing, including 2 adult female alpacas, a baby alpaca, 2 boar goat, and 1 angora. The animal attacks began with the baby alpaca. When she found the remains, she said the body was in bad shape. It was just shredded. Now, baby alpacas, yeah, it's a baby. It's small for a big alpaca, but not small for, comparison to a dog. About the same size. So it just, whatever, totally just destroyed this poor animal. The only tracks we could find were large canine tracks, Ellsbury said. The injuries on the baby alpaca, as with the cases in Bryan and Cowley, not likely involving mountain lions. The baby scalped and was bit in the face, which is typical of a dog species. Yeah, a dog is going to scalp something. Lawson said she was told the offending animal was a coyote, which she disputes could have killed this baby animal. She said she has at times more than a dozen dogs on her property, which would go after any coyote near her place. There's not a goddamn coyote on the planet that's going to come into my yard, she says. Lawson also pointed out she has chickens, ducks, geese. None of these are gone missing. Ellsbury said the only call he's received from Lawson was concerning the baby alpaca, and with a smaller animal like that, coyotes can get pretty bold. Lawson said one of her guardian dogs was also killed, a story she relates in tears. He began barking one evening at something she couldn't see and ran toward it. He took off through the field and never came back. She said her neighbors found the dog's remains. Lawson now keeps most of her animals in a barn. She can't let the animals graze during the day while she's gone, so she has to buy them food, which is expensive. She's considering entering her hobby. I can't use the land I have, and I can't afford to lose more animals. As with Hopkin, the combination of uncertainty and feeling that there are no options to protect her pets fuel a lot of Lawson's frustration. Officials in the Game and Fish Department said they are responding to these reports and understand that the loss is painful. Dan Smith, Cody Regional Wildlife Supervisor, said even though thorough investigations don't always reach definitive conclusions, it's not always possible to determine exactly how the pet died or what killed it. We do our best. We can't necessarily rule something out. There are indicators such as tracks, fur, scat, as well as a unique signature on how something takes its prey. If there's a lot on the carcass left, we can usually tell based on the different things we look at what the offending species may have been. Thompson, a large carnivore program supervisor with the Game and Fish. Smith stressed the attacks on the pets in the area are quite rare and have not been on the rise. Well, right there's 3 within a couple of months. Yeah, they're not on the rise. There's no need for people to be alarmed and think there's the mountain lions running all over the place and their dogs are unsafe. Well, we just, in the same article, ass nuts, you just said it wasn't mountain lions. Now you're going back to mountain lions. Make up your friggin' mind. We don't need to see panicked people afraid to let their dogs out. Herman said to report sightings of animals immediately rather than a week later or after a pet has been killed as a matter of public safety. That gives Game and Fish more information with which track the large predator activity. They move a great deal, Smith said. If it's potentially a mountain lion or a bear, and we don't hear about it, a week later that animal could be 10 to 15 miles away. In some cases, the department does locate a predator that's hunting pets and livestock. Just recently, they found a mountain lion in North Folk area west of Cody that had to be captured and euthanized after killing pets. While predators are weary of humans and generally don't attack pets, Smith said it doesn't hurt to remain vigilant. Yeah, just go out and kill the mountain lions. Because you just said it wasn't a mountain lion, that it's possibly, well, you found canine poop in large canine tracks. And, but we all know that the coyote didn't do it. The wolf didn't do it, because you would have said, hey, this is... And then you bring the bear into it. So you got three. You got three that you're blaming these on. This is the best. This is the end of the argument, or article. He recommends people not feed deer on their property, as it can attract predators. Use outdoor lighting at night, and when possible, keep your dogs behind fence areas. Whenever an attack is reported, he said, the Game and Fish will apply decades of knowledge and expertise to the investigation. We take all of these reports seriously. Decades of knowledge and expertise. Yeah, you really did that, didn't you? Couldn't even figure out anything. You know, actually they did. They just didn't tell us. So, yeah, I guess their decades of knowledge and expertise is good for somebody, but not the basic population that lives every day and has to work every day and let their dogs out, let their kids play. You know, I think it's just time that they tell us. Just fucking be frank with us, man. You know, there's shit out there that can kill you. I mean, I'd rather know that than, I don't even know. I mean, this is just ridiculous what they're doing. So, pretty much, we'll probably never ever hear what happened to poor Donald Allen Jr. Well, we're just not going to hear anything. And as for Brenda Hamilton, no. The case is closed. There's been public outcry for that. And, yeah, it's just swept under the rug, guys. Every day. Anyway, just something I wanted to share with you guys. Because it's just, these news articles are hot. They're hot for a minute, you know. Hot for a minute. Keep you on your toes. Take your mind off of what's going on in politics or this and that. But then, you never hear any more. But they act like they're going to share more. Every article you read. We'll have more for you later. No, you won't. You won't. What you'll have is more lies. Alright, guys. Sorry for the ramble session. Just wanted to get this out to you guys. Have a good night.